To face the music over the scandal that's got people threatening to give Facebook the flick.
They trust me, done. Those were the words of a 19-year-old Mark Zuckerberg, not long after he launched Facebook in 2004. Today, the world's a little bit wiser, and that trust is in tatters.
This is Facebook's Frankenstein monster.
Facebook is in crisis.
It's lost more than $60 billion in market cap.
The Zuck finally fronted up over the Cambridge Analytica scandal and saw the personal info of 50 million Facebook users harvested to try and influence the US election, delivering the tech CEO equivalent of "Soz guys, my bad."
This was a major breach of trust, and I'm really sorry that this happened. We have a basic responsibility to protect people's data, and if we can't do that, then we don't deserve to have the opportunity to serve people.
The Facebook boss admitted it was a mistake to trust Cambridge Analytica, and that it probably should have told users about apps doing sketchy things with their data.
That's definitely something that I regret that we didn't do at the time, and I think we got that wrong, and we're committed to getting that right going forward.
He also admitted Facebook wasn't exactly across the whole election influencing thing.
What's clear is that in 2016, we were not as on top of a number of issues as we should have, whether it was Russian interference or fake news.
You are fake news.
Zuckerberg made a bunch of promises.
We're going to do a full forensic audit. We're going to build a tool where anyone can go and see if their data was a part of this.
And tried to tug the heartstrings.
You know, I really just care about building something that my girls are going to grow up and be proud of me for.
So is Facebook on the path to redemption, or is it time for Zuckerberg to zuck off?
Professor Katina Michael is an expert in data privacy and has been following the scandal closely. Professor, this apology was a long time coming, but it only came after Facebook started losing a stack of cash. Is it a case of too little too late?
Exactly. I think sorry is not enough at this point. People's privacy has been intruded and there's not been any action taken or any penalty served, really.
How much trouble is Facebook really in here?
They're in big trouble, and a lot of heads will roll and a lot of changes will have to happen because consumers have lost trust. We've seen about $50 billion shaved off their value, and we will see that continue to plummet over the next few days. I think we're going to see some major consequences being rolled out over the next few weeks.
Facebook and Mark Zuckerberg have always had problems acknowledging and dealing with mistakes when they've been made. They struggled to acknowledge the role of fake news in the US election. But it now seems impossible for them to deny that what they did and the way they've used data or allowed data to be used has changed the course of history, really.
It has, and somebody is lying. This is the basic premise. I mean, why else would Facebook charge into Cambridge Analytica's head office in the UK and ask to see if their data was still being stored? So what are the deals that have been done, and who do we really believe? You know, Alexander Nix, who was covertly recorded the other day and told everything about how he was responsible for the Trump campaign winning the election, and how much was Zuckerberg really involved? And this is an issue, and it has changed the course of history. I think when we look at the top five, including Amazon, Microsoft, Google, and Apple, we are going to see some major restrictions and regulations being introduced.
Can we just be clear, do you think Zuckerberg is lying?
He could be lying, and time will tell. I know what he did say today. He said he's made some grave mistakes since he was 19 years of age. But the real scandal here is what is Facebook currently doing with our personal data. And so it's okay to deflect the attention onto third parties like Cambridge Analytica, but hey, Facebook, fess up. What's actually going on within your own corporation, and how are you selling or at least sharing personal information with data brokers out there that are manipulating what we buy at the checkout?
Katina, is this the wake-up call we needed, or do you think in this day and age where we move pretty swiftly from scandal to scandal that people will just get over this, move on, still be on Facebook, or are there more serious breaches of privacy that are really going to shake us up?
I think we've seen a lot of data breaches occur. Equifax, the most recent one, 100 million people's information being compromised. I think over time we've become more and more aware, and now we finally believe it. So what we've got to see are people and consumers not being products, but returning back to the client relationship. You know, we're not products, and we're sick and tired of being productized in this democracy that we live in. Imagine a future where we agree, we consent to some of our personal information being shared, but saying, hey, Facebook, how about you give us a cut of the massive profits you're making so they can go back into our pockets and we can spend more. So I think we're at that time of private data commons where consumers are in charge of their data and their privacy.
I like the idea of the five of us getting a cut of Facebook, though. Is it us five? Is that... Oh, I don't know. Let's keep that quiet.
Katina, you've been an absolute gem tonight. It makes so much sense when you explain it to us. Thanks so much for your time.
Thank you for sharing.
You know, I think her point about us being consumers and needing to understand what our function in all of this is important. But there's another part to this, which is that we're sort of participants in democracy and democratic process. And there's two components to this broader story, right? What Facebook's doing with the data, but then how that's influencing democratic outcomes, like in the US election, like in Brexit. I think it's the relationship between those two spheres that we don't really yet fully understand, and that's the thing that I think we need to kind of wake up to.
We were talking about this today too. I wonder whether a lot of people care about that broader issue until it's going to affect your kids, or your kids are targeted, or images of yourself are put something like, until it really affects you, do you bother deleting your Facebook?
Yeah, maybe not.
Although this is affecting us, and this is huge. It's hard to get your head around.
I went in today and switched off all the apps and everything.
Did you?
Yeah, I went straight.
Yeah, I did too. Yeah, Hayden showed me how to do it. It's just, but I think that's the problem. People don't understand until you see somebody break into your house and you can visually see what the breach has been. But a lot of people aren't there yet. They don't understand how this works. So I think we've got a ways to go before we understand it, but just turn off all your apps immediately.
I don't know how to do that.
It certainly seems like everyone was asked about Facebook today, even the Prime Minister.
Well, I have a Facebook account. I mean, I hope you like it. You know, refer to it regularly, on the hour, I would suggest.
Refer to it regularly. He loves his referrals.
Is that a button?
Aussie, it's that and that and that. Hey, Aussie cricket captain Steve Smith was also basically he's about to play the third test in South Africa tonight. He was asked about his social media habits.
Steve, how do you shut out the social media noise? Because I know a lot of players say they put their phones away or they try to stay away from it, but it's difficult to, in a week where particularly your name has been all over. How do you shut it off as leader and try to focus on what you have to do?
I don't. I read everything, so...
Then why haven't you responded to all my messages? I blame Columbia Analytica. I only paid half the story. But watch out for Cambridge Analytica. They're the real ones that nobody's talking about yet.
All right, let's move on to something far more serious now. Back pain is the